Hey guys, it's Oberstadt, and I'm still getting over being sick, so my voice might come in and out. But as you can see, I've got a bunch of brushes and tools and stuff laid out. I have had a lot of requests lately to talk about what brushes I am using and going over, you know, the brands, what the brushes are, that kind of thing. And I figured since I'm going to be going through all of my brushes, I might as well declutter a few things while I'm here. So, I'm going to be splitting this into two parts. This part is just going to be face brushes like blush, foundation, highlight, powder, sponges. Those are the brushes I'm going to be doing in this video, and then part two will also be, it'll be like all the rest of my brushes, like my eyeshadow brushes and stuff like that. So if you're interested in learning what brushes I own and what I'm going to be getting rid of, some of these brushes are brand new. I've never even used them. So there's that. But if you're curious to see what I own, then keep watching. Now, first I'm going to talk about sponges because I have a wide assortment of them. And I don't really like all of them, to be honest. This is my Stands Out Beauty Sponge. I got this from a giveaway that Samantha March was doing. She did a like Valentine's Day giveaway where she was giving away like 10 of these sponges per day for like 14 days or something like that. Anyways, I got this as a giveaway. It's the first giveaway I've ever won in my entire life. And I use this as like a finishing step. I have tried this with concealer. I've tried it with foundation. I do not like the texture that it leaves on my skin. It has this really strange, like, it's a really strange sponge. It leaves like, if you've ever painted a wall with a roller, that's the kind of texture that this leaves on my skin, and I don't like it. But as a finishing sponge, I do like it, and this is after like all of my powder products and that kind of stuff. I use this to stamp powder down on my skin. This one here is a Japanese sponge, and every time I've tried to use it, it leaves little black pieces on my face. I bought this from Ulta. This is a Beau, I want to say, beauty sponge. Same thing. It like leaves little black particles on my face every time I use it. I don't understand. This is a Sephora one, and it's okay. These are all, let's see. Firmness wise, this one would be like the pretty firm. This one is the next firmest. These two are very similar in firmness compared to this one. And then this is an actual real beauty blender that a subscriber sent me. This one's nowhere near as firm as those two. This is an Eco Tools one, and after like the first time I washed it, it started doing this. And I'd only used it once, and it was like tearing up. And I don't have fingernails very rarely, so I don't know why it was like tearing up like this so easily. So this one's an Eco Tools, and then this one is a little Real Techniques sponge. I've never owned a big one. I've only owned the little ones. And I still have two from this set. It came in a 4-pack. Out of all these sponges, these two are the softest that I own. The Beauty Blender and the Real Techniques sponge. These are the ones I actually prefer out of all of these. And the Japanese one I've used it like twice. So if anybody is interested in this, please leave a comment. I will, put this in a giveaway. And the same goes with the Sephora one. I've used it like twice, and I still have all the packaging and stuff for it. And it's been washed. They're sanitary. These have all been sitting in my tray it's covered. So they sit in like my brush holder, and they just kind of stay there. And I don't use them. So I'm going to go ahead and put them back in there while I'm thinking about it right now. As far as face brushes, I do not really wear foundation. So I have it's broken, but I do have an e.l.f. like ultimate blending brush or whatever, but I used it once, and the top, like where the handle connects to the ferrule, it like broke. So I still haven't glued that back together. Oh, and this little guy I bought as a 2-pack. It was in the same section in Walmart as like the Real Technique sponges. I usually use it for like under eye powder, if I do use it powder under my eyes at all. That's what this is. I guess I'll call foundation brushes. I don't really use foundation brushes. So first we have all of my Wet n Wild brushes like this all came from a kit that I bought. I will leave the kit linked down below. It contains all of the brushes that look like these, as well as like a brush roll. I bought it for $12.99. Most of the time it's on sale for $14.99. It originally retails for $27 or $28.99. So you can get really good deals with it. You have a smaller duo fiber, a larger duo fiber, a flat foundation, and then a flat kabuki foundation brush. I'm getting rid of all 4 of these. I don't use them. I don't need them. Oh, there's another one. I don't like them. One of these is for foundation. I think one's for concealer. One's just a little bit smaller than the other. So I'm going to get rid of all 5 of those. So I've never even used them. They're brand new. This one here is a Luxie foundation brush. I think I've used this once, and it's not as soft as the Wet n Wild ones. I'm also going to get rid of this. So it's called a Luxie 510. Then we have this weird one from Farrah. This is from their Midnight collection. This is the 20FF Straight. It's a very strange, they call this their foundation brush. I don't get it. This one's also supposed to be a foundation brush, but it's got this like weird angle on it. Not quite sure why. This one is their Stippling 40FM. I was going to try and use it for contour. I haven't used this one yet. And then we have this one here. This is an Eco Tools Wonder Cover Complexion Brush. I bought this at Walmart. I've used it a couple times. I haven't used it in like 6 months. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this one as well. And this was the other one that came in, well, it says cheek on it. These are dirty. That's why they're kind of separated. This is technically a foundation brush. This is a Luxie 660 Precision Foundation. I use it for blush. And I really like Luxie brushes. They are like my favorite. Out of all my brushes, these are like my top favorite brushes, but they're awfully expensive. I'm gonna keep these. Alright, powder brushes. First we have this one here. It's a big fluffy one. This is a natural hair brush. I've had this set for a while. This is technically a foundation brush. I use them both for powder. This was like a kit that I bought 20 years ago, so I have no way of linking any of the wooden handled brushes. This is a Farrah 50F brush. This came from Ipsy. It's a really nice fluffy powder brush. I use it to dust stuff off, and I use it to dust powder all over my face or whisk off powder that's all over my face. Then we have these two. They're the exact same brush. One is just brand new and not used, and the other one is one I've used for quite a while. I use this for contour. I've used it for powder. I think they're considered their powder brush. This one even has like a wild hair off at the side. But I bought one on Amazon for like $3.49. The other one I got in a kit, so that's why I have two. So I'm going to go ahead and keep both of those. Getting into blush and contour brushes. This is my tried and true Luxie 514 blush brush. I love this brush. If I could afford the $300+ kit to get all of them that look like this as a matching set, I would. I love Luxie brushes. This is a Farrah Cheeky End 218. This is a very unique, fluffy brush that you can use. I have been using it for contour, not blush, but it also works for blush. It's very soft. This is from their Midnight collection. Then this is like an angled contour brush from that Wet n Wild kit, and it works pretty okay at blending product out. I really like it. Then we have this one here that's their blush brush. I've only used it a few times. I've used it with blush and I've used it with contour. Then we have the Luxie 1010 brush. You can barely see it. It's called a small contour. This is one of their like pro lines, and you've even got a little wild hair hanging out the top. This is a very nice brush. If you want to like pack a dense amount of contour or bronzer into one area and then buff it out with something like this, that's usually what I do, is I will do a dense amount with this to like chisel out where I want it specifically, and then I use a bigger brush to, you know, blend it out. Same thing with this one. This is an e.l.f. contouring brush. I usually, if you can tell, it has powder in it, which is I use last for a makeup look that will be coming up the first week of December. So yeah, I use it as like an eraser. This is really good for doing very nice straight lines, dense amounts of product. Same thing like this one here. And it's a really nice brush. This is a Real Techniques setting brush. I use this for setting powder. I use it to whisk product off my skin. It's a really nice brush. It's a little scratchy. And then I have a, I think this is also a Beau. This is a mini angled brush. I use this for under eye setting powder as well, to pack powder on, smooth out any like wrinkles or creases or anything like that. I use this to do that. Then we have this one here, which I might just migrate out of my like face brushes and put it in with my eye brushes. This is a Vasanti brush. It is called a concealer buffer. It feels soft to the touch, but the thing is when I'm using this on my under eyes, it causes irritation. It causes my skin to feel scratched. So I don't like using it to either buff concealer out or to put powder on over concealer. Again, I don't like it using this with concealer. It's too scratchy for my skin. Then we have a BH Cosmetics. This is a number 18 Studio Pro brush. I thankfully just found these as singles on their website. I bought this as a 3-pack a while ago, and I have got the links for these. I love this brush. I love all of the Studio Pro brushes that I got in that kit. It washes well. It doesn't stain. I don't have any problems with the hair falling out. I can get it wet within like an hour and a half. It's dry. So these dry like super quickly. I don't have any issues with them. So I really love this brush. The last highlighter brush that I have is from Moto Pro. This is a BMX 265 Glow. And this I got as a in an Ipsy glam bag. I actually have a couple of Moto Pro brushes. This is what I use when I want a nice, the dense, blinding highlight. This is for like subtle highlight. It's very fluffy. It disperses the product very well. It's just a very nice light sheen. Whereas this one here is like a kapow kind of highlighter brush. So there's those. I have this Wet n Wild fan brush. As you can see, it still has its little hat on. It's protected for your pleasure. I'm going to be getting rid of it. I have no need for a fan brush. And then these technically are eye brushes, but I mean, I don't really have anything like them in my collection. So we have the little eyebrow brush from Wet n Wild and the this little guy that I use from the Wooden Handle collection. I like both of them. So that is all of my like face brushes. These are actually dirty, that's why they're separate from the rest of them. But I do rotate through these quite frequently, and especially if I'm doing like makeup looks that are require different colors than normal everyday like makeup. When I did like the purple, well, you'll see, I did like purple blush in an upcoming video. I use this brush. When I did very odd contour with blue contouring and stuff, you'll see that I use like this brush and a couple of others. So these are all of my big face brushes, and then hopefully you guys enjoy this. If you have any questions or if you're interested in any of these brushes, I will be doing 2 giveaways in December. One will run from December 1st to the 15th. I will leave the Rafflecopter link in the description box, and then the other one will run from like the 15th to the end of the month. I'm going to be putting together little makeup kits with like various products in it, and if you want, I can throw in a couple of these brushes, and I do have a couple other brushes that I ordered that are brand new that will be going in those kits as well. So yeah, let me know what you think. If you have questions, I will leave all of these brushes linked down below. If I can still find them for sale, I will link them, and hopefully you guys like it. I know it was requested by several different people, and they kept asking what brushes I was using on the daily, so this is just an easy way to not only declutter, but to show you everything I have. So hopefully you guys enjoy, and I will see you in tomorrow's video. Have a fantastic day or night, wherever you are. Bye.